Hi, everybody. The features we're going to be looking at today may not be completely new to the BIM 360 environment. However, they are new to the BIM 360 design workflow. Autodesk has been working on unifying access to the existing tools that previously were only available under the Plans folder or possibly under the Design folder, and putting them under one unified platform, BIM 360 docs, so that we can use them regardless of the workflow that we are using. We're going to take a look at two of the features that recently became available in BIM 360 design workflow. That's the sets and the transmittals. Although sets and transmittals have similarities, there are also some differences that we'll be taking a look at as well. Hopefully this presentation will help you identify when you'll want to use each of these tools on your BIM 360 project. And if you have further questions, like Ashley said at the end, feel free to put those in the chat and I'll address those for you. So the sets themselves are a defined collection of files which allows you to group your project documents together. The project members with a minimum of viewing rights can view the files within a set. So let's take a little closer look at sets. With the release of the sets view, support for sets is now available to the project files folder in document management. This will make it a little bit easier to organize and manage specific versions of documents into sets. They are issued for a specific purpose during the life cycle of the project. This allows you to include specifications and other documents you are managing within your project file folder. To see the sets view, you'll click on Sets in the upper left-hand corner of the Document Management module under View By. When selecting the Sets view, the current set is displayed by default. The current set lists the most recent version of all the files in a set, or all the files in a most recent version of the file in all sets. To view a specific set, select the set name in the set drop-down menu. To create a new set, select the document or documents in the folder view and then select the Edit Set Assignment. There's a button that you can select on the top in the toolbar, or you can select the More menu and select Edit Set Assignments there. In the Edit Set Assignment dialog box, you can choose Move to New Set. Enter a name for the new set. The file or files will be placed in the new set as it's created. There's also an option to create a new set under the Manage Sets that I'll go over here shortly. It's recommended that you name the sets in a way that it communicates to the rest of the project team what a collection is for, such as 50% CD, Addendum 1. The set name is something to consider early on in your project. In managing your files associated to a set, you can move files to a new set, move files to an existing set, or remove files from a set. You can select the files that you want to modify from either the folders view or the sets view. Select the Edit Set Assignment button or select the More menu button again to access that Edit Set Assignment tool. Select the desired option to move the files to a new set, move the files to an existing set, or remove the files from a set. Now, only a valid option will be available for the selected files in that Edit Set Assignment dialog box. For example, if you select a file in the folders view that is not yet associated to a set, you won't have an option to remove it from a set. If a desired option is grayed out and the files are associated to a set, try selecting a specific file instead of multiple files. You may have selected a file that's associated to more than one set. And I'll take a look at here in a minute with you on the demo to show you how you can identify what set a file is associated with from the folders section of the document management. The BIM 360 document management sets feature makes it a little easier to organize and manage specific versions of documents into sets. A set can include documents from multiple folders. In the sets view, you can view the associated sets, files, folder path, and the version of the file saved in the listed set and create new sets. So you can see here, we can see what the path is for that file and where it came from. As the project admin, you can create specific sets for your project in advance with the Manage Sets option. To create a new set in advance, go to the Sets tab and select Manage Sets. In the Create New Set dialog box, add the desired set name and optional issuance date. By checking Create Another in the Create New Set dialog box, you can continue to create additional sets before saving. Although project admins are currently the only ones that can create a new set, users with full control permissions for the relevant folders can now add files to an existing set that are available, if that helps with your workflow. Any project member with folder access to documents that are contained in a set can view the files and the set information for the defined sets. So if someone has rights to that folder, in this case the architectural folder, then they would be able to see those files within that folder that are in a set. If they do not have rights to the architectural folder, then they would not be able to view those files in the set. So oftentimes, if you want this to be something from a shared folder where more people might have access, you might want to take that into consideration as well. Selecting a file within a set will open the file in the BIM viewer. Depending on a user's folder permissions, they may also have access to redline, issue, and download tools as well. So let's take a look at transmittals and how they vary from our sets. The transmittal feature is designed to support the formal process used in the AEC industry for conveying information from one project team member to another project team member. In contrast to the sets, that was an informal process where folks were notified independently of the availability of new sets, or they could click on the Sets tab to see what was available and view those files in those sets. With the transmittal process, an invitation is emailed to the specific project members automatically. There's a listing of files in that transmittal as well as an audit trail of that transmittal. Only the members notified of that transmittal can view or access the transmittal. The transmittal feature in BIM 360 is for generating and tracking document transmittals. Transmittals are now available to both the design and the construction workflow, as I mentioned before. We'll take a look at viewing the history of transmittals as well as creating a new transmittal. The transmittal creator defines which recipients will automatically be notified by email of the new transmittal. Recipients can select the link in the email to go directly to that transmittal, or access the transmittal from the transmittal tab in Document Management module. The new transmittal tab is for viewing and accessing all relevant transmittals for the project. From within the transmittal tab, you can view the existing transmittal, the transmittal title, when the transmittal was created, who received notification of the transmittal, as well as the number of files associated to that transmittal. The list of transmittals displayed will again depend on your role in the project and if you were a recipient of the transmittal. The project admin can view all transmittals within the project. Recipients can view the transmittals that are associated to them. By selecting one of the transmittals, you can download the documents contained in the transmittal by selecting Export All, which will generate a zip file. view the documents contained within each transmittal, view the version and date of the last update. You can also select the individual file to open it in the BIM viewer to take a look at the file. The transmittal details on the right of the screen list both the sender and recipient of the transmittal and any associated notes. To create a transmittal, select one or more documents or an entire folder and select Create Transmittal from the button at the top of the toolbar, or by selecting the More symbol again to access the tools from the drop-down menu. In the Create Transmittal dialog box, give the transmittal a title and add the recipients. The recipients can be added by individual users, roles, or companies. Verify the files needed are listed in the Create Transmittal dialog box. If files from another folder are needed, select the Add Documents button and select additional documents for the transmittal. You can also select the little X here to remove a document from a transmittal if you've selected an incorrect one, or if you selected an entire folder but you don't need all the files. In the message area, add a description and instructions such as the purpose and if any actions are required. Once the button is selected, an automatic email notification is sent to the recipients. The new transmittal will be listed under the Transmittal tab with all the other project transmittals. In the Project Admin module under Activity tab, you'll see we switched from the Document Management to the Project Admin module. Under the Activity tab, you can view all tracked activities within the project. In this case, I've just highlighted some transmittals that were created a while back. Okay? But you can sort through and see when transmittals were sent and when they were viewed by an individual that was a recipient. As I mentioned in the initial release of the transmittals, the ability to create transmittals is only available to the project admin. Autodesk is planning to expand this to other users in the future and the future update, and then also add some folder control so that you can give people permission within that folder to create transmittals. The recipients of the transmittals are notified via email when the transmittal is ready. Recipients can select the link in the email to go directly to that transmittal. Selecting the link will take them directly to the files in that particular transmittal. So it took it straight to that transmittal one. Recipients can view the specific versions of files when the files were last updated and details of the transmittal. Selecting a specific file in the transmittal will open the file in the BIM viewer. The recipient can export and download the entire group of the transmittal using the zip file. If the transmittal recipients navigate to BIM 360, Document Management module, the transmittal is visible on the Transmittal tab as well. The recipients can see all the transmittals that they are associated with. The recipient can view the transmittal sender, all the recipients, and the number of files that are in each individual transmittal. Again, selecting on a transmittal will display the content of that transmittal. Now, since the project admins can create transmittals, they can see all the transmittals that have been created for the project, whereas project team members that are not admins will only see those transmittals that are associated to them, i.e. they were a recipient of a transmittal. So let's take a quick look at some of those features. So in here, if I take a look, we'll take a look at our sets first. So under our sets, folder. Under folders here, we have folders and we have sets within our document management. If I take a look at my existing sets, by default, it goes to the current set. So that's going to be the latest version of all the files that are contained in the various sets. So in this case here, I've got various sets that have already been created. I can go back to any other set and take a look at those and what files are associated with that set, as well as the version and where those files are located or where it's pulling those files from. This can be helpful if somebody says they don't have access to it, they can't view it, they may not have rights to these particular folders, so you can work with that. You'll also see that these are not the most current versions. I know that because the banner up here is telling me that this particular set does not have the most current version of these files. So I go to switch this to current set, it will come back and it will list all the current versions, which may or may not be what I need, but as you can see, you can quickly find the more current version. If I take a look at my 30% delivery here, you'll see I don't have any documents in here yet. I just went in and created a new set, said create new, I gave it a name and an issuance date. If you're the project admin and you want to go in and create some sets in advance so that individuals that have full control of folders can populate those sets, you can do that. So if I wanted to come in and add to this empty set, which is 30% deliverable, I could go back to my folders tab. And then I could go to, say, to my Arch folder, and maybe I want to put in my Revit file. I either can come up and use my Edit Set Assignment, or come down to my More button here and use my Edit Set Assignment here. Either way is fine. And in this case, I don't want to move it to a new set, but to an existing set. And I can add that to my 30% deliverable. Okay, so it's moved the documents to that set, basically put a copy of them in there. Now, if I come back to my sets, you'll see we have that file in there. Now, if I want to go in and continue to add additional ones, if they were all in one folder, I could select multiples. But if they're in individual folders, then you'll need to come in and select those files individually and then add those to the sets. Okay, and as those are added in, I can come back to my sets and see what's been added in. So I can see what version and I can see where that was pulled from. Now you could pull those also from the shared folder if that's where you want to pull the files from. The latest published version or packaged version may be the more preferred workflow. And so if we switch to transmittals and take a look at that workflow, as I said, it's quite similar. However, you are creating a transmittal to a specific group of people or individuals. So if I wanted to create a new transmittal in here, I can do that also. So let's go back to our folders. And let's come down to our shared drive. And here under my mechanical, I have quite a few files here. So if I want to package up all of those files, I can come back over to my shared folder and just select the file itself, and I can create a transmittal. Selecting an entire folder is not an option for sets, but it is for transmittals. And it'll ask me, what do I want that transmittal to be called? So maybe this is a preliminary. And we can come in and add our recipients. So we can add the individual recipients. We can add recipients by role. So if we want designers or project admins to look at it, or by company, if we want to have the entire company review it. Maybe this is being sent off to a subcontractor later on and we want to provide this to a company. We can select by company. Then anybody under that company profile would then be able to, would get an email notification and be able to view it. So in this case, we'll do, we'll send it to Sabrina, and let's add it to myself as well. So we'll save it. we can take a look. If we wanted to add more documents, we could go in and add more documents. In here, let's cancel that one out. And if we wanted to, we could come in and remove files as well. So in here, if I wanted to say we don't need the reflective ceiling plan, I could come in and remove the reflective ceiling plan. If we've got some files that aren't quite ready yet for prime time, we could pull those out as well. Okay. So just depending on what you need, you can put a message in here. Please review. And I can create that transmittal. You'll notice it tells me right away that it's been sent to the recipients. I can view the transmittal right now, or I could have selected on that transmittal number 5. If I come back to my transmittal tab, I now have my transmittal 5. I can select that, and I can see the files that were associated to that transmittal. Okay. Now you'll see some of these are also associated to a set, some are not, so it's letting me know which one of those are associated to a set as well. Come back to our folders tab. You'll also notice that over here, if I look, let's say, at the architectural tab, you can also see if a drawing is associated to a set on the folders tab as well. So within the transmittal, you can see the path as well as if a set's associated to it. And then under our document management folders, you can see if any files are associated to a set as well. If I was to come over and take a look at our project admin page, under our services as an admin, I can come here and take a look at this, and I can see what recently has been going on in my activity log. And let me refresh it. So it still had earlier stuff. So you can see here it shows that I just created that transmittal. I have not viewed it yet. If I come over and take a look at that transmittal, I close my email. Let's see if I can pull that up real quick. And I'll show you how it comes in with an email. Give that just a second. So here, you can see I get a notification with the message that was in there and a link to view that transmittal. So I can click on that and go straight back to that transmittal if I want to. In this case, it's going to drill right down to the file folder and look at all the different files. Okay. If I want to get back to all the transmittals that I can view, I can simply go back and hit the transmittals tab to see all the ones that are either sent by me or associated to me. Let's come back over for just a minute to the PowerPoint. I want to show you one other little kind of a bonus tool here. And that is the home page. Many of you might navigate off of the home page right away when you get into your project, but it can be quite a handy little tool. Let me get back to my page here. So the project home page is basically your dashboard, so you can kind of see in a single view things that might be relevant to for you specifically in the project, and actionable items as well. So with the panels that come up on the project home page, you can quickly evaluate areas that need your attention, or as a project manager that the team may need to address. The information presented in the project homepage depends on your project, module access, and project permissions. So as you can see here as a project admin, I can see what design issues have been assigned to me, but I also can see all of the design issues that are going on. I can see all of the packages here, and some of these will have settings that you can adjust what you're going to see. As you see the little drop down here, you can switch between your design issues versus the project issues. Now again, depending on your role in the project, you may not have an option to see the project issues, but you may have some other options if you have a drop down or a settings button. And we also have an option here that we can expand a card to full screen. We can hide a card. We can see when it was last updated if it needs to be refreshed. So at a very high level, a project member can view issues directly relevant to them. For many project members, they can quickly see if there's been any issues assigned to them since the last time they were in the project. And then the project manager or administrator can view the details that are associated to not just them, but the entire project. So let's take a look at a newer feature. First, we'll take a look quickly at how to customize the interface or the layout of the home page. In the project homepage, project members can now create a more personalized experience. You can manage and reorder the cards on the project homepage by selecting the Customize icon to control which cards are visible on the dashboard and how they'll appear. As an example, a user might want to add additional cards. They might want to change the location of a card. So let's take a look at modifying a card on the home page. So if you click on the Customize button, that's going to activate the page panel so that they can be arranged and provide access to the card library. So once you select that Customize icon, the card library becomes active, and you can drag around the panels and relocate them. So if I select on the card library, then it will open up a listing of cards that are available that I could put on my home screen. There's a list of cards. You can scroll through them. In this particular case, I'm going to select the BIM 360 panel, which is a customizable panel. Some of the other ones are already set up to pull in certain information. There's an approval and reviews, the design issues panel. But the BIM 360 one I'm going to look at today is going to be one that I can customize to pull in information that I want. Though I'm going to set it up so that it pulls in the transmit information so I can see what transmittals have recently been placed and which ones are available to me. So once I bring in that panel, I can go ahead and hit the Configure button, and then I can give the card a title. What do I want that to be called? And I can add in a URL. So in this case, I can call it Project Sets, and then I can put in the path for my sets. Just simply copied and pasted it from the URL for my Sets tab. You could also do the same thing for transmittals. Okay. And then it adds that in there. Okay, so here's one that I did for the transmittals. So let's take a look again. Let me switch back over for just a second here, and I'll show you that. So on my home page, you'll see I created a new one for my transmittal. If I take a look at my settings, I have a configure option. And again, I just gave the card a name, and I just copied and pasted from my transmittal tab that address, and it populates or creates a new card. If I want to do one for my sets, I could come back over to sets. I can copy the URL, come back over to my home page. So I want to add a card, add a card library. Again, click a little too fast. Come down and pick on my BIM 360 card. As you can see, there's a list of cards in here. Not all of them are Autodesk, some are partners. This list continues to grow. So if you're looking for more insight or more information associated to your project or tying in other content, by all means, feel free to take a look in here. I'm going to go ahead and add that card. So there's my new BIM 360 card. So I'm going to go ahead and configure that. And I'll call this, clicking a little too fast, we'll say Project Set. And I'll add that address in. Now this is just for this particular project. Okay, and here is the same view that I would have seen if I was over on document management with sets. I can take a look at the different folders. I can want to look at the current one. I can look at the current sets. the current files of all the sets, or I can drill down to a specific set, depending on what my needs are. Now it does make kind of a tiny view there. These are not ones that you can expand to full screen, unfortunately, but it can get you kind of the general information right here at your fingertips if you need to, quite quickly. Of course, you can always go back to your sets and transmittals. Over here, you'll see again, here's the issues and my project design issues. I can click on any one of these and go directly to that issue. If I click on a set, I can go directly to that set or transmittal as well. Okay. Just depends on your workflow and what works best for you. As the user, this gives you a little bit more flexibility to your home page. All right, if you want to keep up with what's going on in BIM 360 as new updates come out, they kind of go in spurts. There's been a couple the last month or so. We'll see some more probably every few months. There'll be a couple more updates or enhancements. So you can go to the blogs at Autodesk to locate the BIM 360 roadmap for future reference. I do try to do these every few months to try to keep things up to date as to what's going on. So look for more to come in the future. That'll wrap it up. If you have any questions, let me know. Doesn't look like we have any at this point in time, so we'll give it a minute, and if not, I'll let Ashley wrap us up.
Okay, well, thanks, Alice. I'll keep my eye open on the question panel as I do this wrap-up, though. I will let people know that if you think of additional questions, you can simply reply to the confirmation or reminder email you received from GoToWebinar. We can get those to Alice or your sales rep to get those answered. Once again, if you could take a few moments to fill out the short survey, we would appreciate it. It will just automatically pop up as we close down. And I don't see anything popping in yet. So if this will conclude our broadcast. Thanks for attending and have a great day, everybody.